What's up, YouTube? This is Boston X79, guys. Today I'm coming to you with my latest Speed Duel deck profile for September 2020. And today, guys, we're going to be looking at my Toon Mayhem Speed Duel deck. The last set of starter decks for Speed Duel actually gave us a lot of better support for the Toon deck. We got a lot of the newer Toon monsters, as well as this brand new skill card, which we'll be going over in a bit. I gotta say, the deck's consistency is there, and just being able to get your monsters on the field for various effects to build your field a lot more simpler, and it makes this deck a whole lot better to play in Speed Duel format. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with the skill card. First and foremost, it's Toon Mayhem. The first time your Toon world would be destroyed by one of your opponent's card effects, it's not destroyed, which means your opponent would have to use 2 effects to get rid of it in a turn. And I can tell you right now that might not be as possible as your opponent would like. And I can tell you right now, it does help this deck go, because a lot of the Toon monsters we are running in this deck don't really rely on Toon world to be summoned. They just rely on Toon World to be able to attack directly. But regardless, being able to protect your Toon World does force your opponent to use up a lot of resources to try to get it off the field. And to be honest, it is the better skill card to be running right now. Okay, on to the monsters. 2 copies of Toon Gemini Elf. Okay, the primary reason why we're running 2 copies of Toon Gemini Elf, because it does eat your normal summon. You want to be able to get multiple monsters on the field in one go. So you normal summon one, and if you have Toon World, you can actually special summon the next card. But Gemini Elf, very awesome. Like all Toon monsters, they can't attack the turn they're summoned. And if Toon World's up, you can attack directly. And anytime this card inflicts battle damage, you're ripping a card out of their hand, which is actually a very awesome control aspect to this deck. That can cause a lot of issues. So definitely you want to be running it. And not only that, but it is a level 4 1900, so yeah, it is a very strong attacker on its own. So definitely a card you want to be seeing. Next up for the level 4s, it's one of the OG Toons, and we're running 3 copies of Toon Mom right now. The primary reason why we're running 3 of her and only 2 of Gemini Elf, like I said, Gemini Elf each normal summon. This card, she doesn't. You need Toon World on the field to special summon her from your hand, but hey, like in the Master Rule version of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, free bodies on the board means you can do a whole lot more during your turn, and she does give you a free body on the board. So definitely get your Toon World up, get her on the field, and then you contribute her off for other monsters. Very awesome, and definitely necessary speed that this deck has to have. Moving on to some of the big boys, we got 2 copies of Tombaro Dragon. What can I say? Tombaro Dragon, just like the OG Barrow Dragon, which is also available in Speed Duels, flip 3 coins, get at least 2 heads. You can pop one of your opponent's monsters off the field, which is awesome. Field control is very great. And even if it's summoned, you can still utilize the effects, so you get that aspect. So, a definite must. And the other must that's in the Toon deck now is going to be 2 copies of Toon Dark Magician. Toon Dark Magician, while it's on the field, you can discard another Toon card from your hand, and you're either searching your deck, or actually, you're either special summoning from your deck another Toon monster, ignoring its special summon conditions, or you're searching your deck for a Toon spell trap to add to your hand. So this guy, if you can get him out onto the field, can get you access to your Toon World. So you have 2 searches for Toon World right there, which is very, very important. And if not, there's also other Toon spells you can utilize to get into your Toon World. So, definitely very useful. Alright, only 1 copy of Toon World. I know it kind of sounds weird, but when you run this card at multiples, it bricks. And you don't want to have bricky hands. And Speed Duels, you want to be having the most consistent hands as possible. So only 1 copy of Toon World is needed. And now thanks to that new skill, it protects it a little bit more and gives it a little bit more longevity to your Toon World while on the field. Next up, 3 copies of Toon Table of Contest, allowing you to search out any Toon cards you need from your deck to your hand so you can get your play started. Very useful, and it's definitely a key consistency card you want in this deck. And last but not least, our 2 copies of Toon Rollback. I gotta tell you, Toon Rollback definitely does its work. Allows you to target 1/2 monster you control, and then it allows it to attack twice during your battle phase, which is actually pretty awesome because you can actually OTK your opponent with this card in your hand. Moving on, we got for the traps 3 copies of Hazy Trap Hole. I'm loving running this card a lot in my decks, primarily because of some of the more problematic decks that can pump out some very big monsters, like the Great Moth decks or even the Blue Eyes decks. This card just mitigates that problem by having any summon monsters attack in half. Blue Eyes goes down to 1500. Great Moth goes down to 1750. So yeah, it'll allow you to get over those monsters a lot easier, and it'll put your opponent at a much worse disadvantage than they already are. So definitely a worthwhile trap to have in your speed duel decks right now. And then next up will be 2 copies of the Windstorm of Equa. Again, this is pretty much, I would say, the second best card to Adhesion Trap Hole now, primarily because it just shifts the battle position of all your opponent's monsters, allowing you to be able to stall your opponent for a turn, so you can actually fight back on your next turn. Very useful, and it does come in handy. Alright guys, that is it for my Toon Mayhem Speed Duel deck for the September 2020 format. Guys, I do hope you enjoyed this deck profile. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Check out the description box below. Find the links to my affiliates, tcgplayer.com, as well as SideDeckVersus.com. Great resources for any Yu-Gi-Oh player. Follow me on social media, and if you guys want to help grow my community to even greater heights, the invite link to my Discord server is also in the description box below. Join the conversation. We'd love to have you. As always, guys, until next time, peace.